Company, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Friday, April 14th. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We are always live on the free Odyssey app and broadcasting, streaming live on YouTube as we head till 10 o'clock this morning. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. You can be a part of the show, as many of you love to do on social media. The radio station at 1210 WPHT on Twitter and Instagram. I am on Twitter at Nick Kayal, Kayal. Don Stenzelin with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Anthony Dorenzo, Daniel Valdez, our associate producers. How amazing was yesterday? 87 freaking degrees. I was sweating profusely. Sunburn. They opened up the pool at the apartment complex. They did.
Ooh,
there was people.
that's amazing.
There was people suntanning or lounging around the pool in bikinis.
Oh.
Dudes in Speedos.
Ew.
I yelled from my balcony, said, "Hey, put some clothes on, man."
But you over there in the bikini, leave that on.
Yes, that's correct. You can stay. Right. Your mic's a little hot right now. I'm assuming that's because Dan Borowski lost his mind yesterday. Do we want to talk about that today? The Electra voice? Yeah. It just sounds a lot different. Yeah. You don't have your typical Shure SM7B as we go inside baseball here. Love these microphones. Good morning, Dom. Your microphone sounds great.
Well, fabulous. Good morning.
All right. Gregory, so does Dan Borowski have to pay out of his paycheck for breaking his microphone because apparently he was fired up over a caller on the Dom Show?
Uh-oh.
I saw the video. Somebody posted it yesterday of one of our engineers installing a new microphone. I mean, I know you love rage, and I know you've had your moments where you've said things like this.
We start at 6 a.m.
6:02. Beautiful. All right, we got so much to get to on today's show. We've got some fallout from a lot of these corporations that are going woke. That'll be the theme of the big take today, because we actually have the why behind the woke. And then we'll get to some of these corporate madness stories. And then two big stories, obviously, within this country and with global implications. We've got the leaker that was identified and arrested yesterday, 21-year-old. And then also a former Obama staffer that can tie Hunter and Joe directly together with their crooked business dealings. An ex-Obama staffer when Joe was the VP, and they've got it all linked up to Burisma. So we'll get to those big stories as well and all sorts of other nonsense here on this Friday morning. But before we get to all of that, 6:06, Dawn Stenzelin with the news.
And good morning on this Friday edition, April 14th, a very special day. Someone very special may have been born on this day, April 14th, and we have a special forecast for you. And we were sponsored by, was it yesterday? I thought it was today, the 14th.
Why? Who was born yesterday?
I'm a loser.
Wait.
And I said it yesterday, and then you didn't react, and I was like,
I didn't even know who you were talking about.
I said it yesterday, and then he's like, so then I was like, oh, it's tomorrow.
So you don't enjoy like being told happy birthday and celebrating it?
All right.
Well, there is nothing
Sorry.
worse than sitting there for 48 seconds when somebody sings happy birthday to you. You just sit there and look like an idiot. To you. We got to do like a staff happy birthday song. Get Daniel in here.
Cake.
Yeah. Did the Phillies play the Reds yesterday? That's what I want to know.
Don't ask. We're 4-9.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry, John.
Well, you know what? Whether yesterday or today, Greg Stocker deserves a spa day at Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa
Yes.
and Salon, which is our sponsor this Friday morning. We have boy, yesterday we've talked about these rec centers and hundreds of shootings happening right outside Philadelphia rec centers and what to do about that. This is a first of all, we'll talk about that one in another incident. We talk about teenagers. This is a 16-year-old boy shot and killed in North Philadelphia last night. Police saying at least 30 shots were fired during this incident. No word yet on the victim's identity. Police say nearby cameras captured a vehicle fleeing the scene. The car has since been recovered. Police say a gun was found inside that vehicle. No suspects, no arrests. So we don't know if the vehicle found was a stolen vehicle or what. So that's in North Philadelphia, the 16-year-old shot. Then we have another situation in Philadelphia's Lawncrest neighborhood where an attempted car theft apparently led to this gun battle outside a rec center on yesterday afternoon. So this happened 5:30 in the afternoon, Longcrest Rec Center, Rising Sun Ave, and Comley. And that's when the suspects were breaking into a Mustang when the owner shows up and tries to stop them. So apparently the person was doing laundry, sees some boys, as the person tells police, try to steal the car. Then the owner shows up. They start pulling out guns and bullets were flying everywhere. 27 shots fired in all. Crazy situation for sure. And so we're talking about that this morning as well. We didn't have anybody in the rec center shot, thank God. We will have in the Horsham Montgomery realty case where the realtor is accused of strangling her 11-year-old son. She was extradited, expected to face a judge in Montgomery County. And we have just a headline here. Philadelphia mayoral candidate, former city council member Derek Green, has announced he has suspended his campaign. So that is one more mayoral candidate leaving the race, apparently. We have a story about the Pops, the Philly Pops. Are they being pushed out? What's going on? We'll talk about that one. We have with our Flyers and our sports. I know we talked about our Phils, but Ivan Provorov scoring big time in OT, leading to the Flyers' 5-4 win in the season finale. So Ivan Provorov scoring, into overtime to lift the Philadelphia Flyers to that 5-4 victory over the Chicago Blackhawks in the season finale for each team. Our Phils, Kyle Schwarber hit his 4th home run.
There you go.
That's good news.
That's right.
But wasn't enough. So Phils couldn't hit with runners, just couldn't get her done. And we lost to the Reds 6-2. So it's early, as we said.
We got the Sixers playoffs starting tomorrow.
And that's so exciting tomorrow.
Yes, because they'll win a round and then they'll get beat in the second round and rip my heart out.
Why don't you shush?
Yeah, you're right. Hold on.
Shush.
Here, Nick. Don Lemon's got some thoughts for Nick Kayal.
Don, you better keep your mouth closed.
Except we'll just insert my name.
All right. We are sponsored by Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon. Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon. The secret to spoiling the moms in your life this spring. Now with 3 locations, Glen Mills, Springfield, Center City, at the Lowe's Hotel. Just visit in person or always online, josephanthony.com, where gift cards are available. That's josephanthony.com. Real quick, T-Mobile Weather Center forecast, because you're going to love it. It's the last day in the 80s. So we're mid-80s, a beautiful day, and relatively low humidity. But we do have some possible storms moving through, not a washout by any means. That cools us off for the weekend. So tomorrow, 72, mostly sunny with the exception of the showers moving through. And then Sunday, that tees us up for 72 degrees and sunny skies. This is Kayal & Company News Live.
Dawn with the news. Thank you very much, Dawn. 855-839-1210. If you want to join the conversation as we continue this morning, 6:11, let's wrap up the week with a Friday Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal & Company.
All right, today's Big Take, why they go woke when they know they will take many L's. You know, many people have wondered why big corporations jump headfirst into the woke messaging waters in their advertising campaigns. I've wondered this for many years as well, because we know that when you get woke, you go broke. And yet these businesses, they know it as well. And the reality is they flat out do not care. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about your reaction. They don't care about what's said about them on social media. They even have little regard for a slight dip in their bottom line because it's all about their social credit score. My sister is a big-time HR executive for a Fortune 500 company. She told me this about a year ago, briefly in passing, but the New York Post has really laid out a great explanation as to what this is about and what these companies' goals are with their never-ending, always failing virtue signaling. The New York Post goes inside the CEI system, pushing brands to endorse things such as Dylan Mulvaney on Bud Light cans. This is from the New York Post directly. Executives at companies like Nike, Anheuser-Busch, and Kate Spade, whose brand endorsements have turned controversial trans influencers like Dylan Mulvaney into today's woke it girl, aren't just virtue signaling. They're handing out lucrative deals to what were once considered fringe celebrities because they have to, or risk failing an all-important social credit score that could make or break their businesses. At stake is their Corporate Equality Index, or CEI score, which is overseen by the Human Rights Campaign, HRC, the largest LGBTQ plus political lobbying group on the planet. HRC, which has received millions from George Soros's Open Society Foundation, among others, issues report cards for America's biggest corporations via the CEI, awarding or subtracting points for how well companies adhere to what HRC calls its rating criteria. Businesses that attain the maximum 100 total points earn the coveted title Best Place to Work for LGBTQ Equality. 15 of the top 20 Fortune-ranked companies received 100% ratings last year. This is all coming from, you guessed it, George Soros. As if bankrolling district attorneys like Larry Krasner or Alvin Bragg isn't bad enough, let's add on to it. From prosecutors who won't put the bad guys away to now, guys who pretend to be girls attempting to sell beer, mainly purchased by guys for guys, to reach the LGBTQ plus community. Not in hopes of selling them beer, but making sure their social credit score ranks highly enough for the approval of a powerful lobbyist group. But don't tell influencer and influential podcaster Joe Rogan that. Joe Rogan apparently has no time for your outrage over dudes in skirts claiming to be women as they try to pimp you beer. Take a listen. Here's Joe Rogan.
You know, because Kid Rock and Travis Tritt have put the fucking hammer down.
I know. They were really fighting the good fight, man.
Here's my take.
Okay.
Like what you're doing, what they're doing is just spreading the brand to an extra group of people.
Yeah.
Why, if something is good, do you give a who's got it? Like, would we do this with cheesecake? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if there was like a bomb ass cheesecake and all of a sudden, you know, some radical group like Antifa really got into the cheesecake, we'd be like, this.
Yeah.
I like Joe Rogan. I really do. I respect his temerity to say what he thinks 24/7. He's kind of the bad guy of podcasters. Come get me if you can. But, you know, the delivery kind of bland. Not really a big fan of the presentation. But he's either playing devil's advocate here or he is just flat out uninformed because Bud Light just lost over $5 billion in market value in less than 5 days. And they had their stock price dip by over 5%. I'm pretty sure Rogan isn't taking that kind of hit on his podcast empire to appease a segment of the population that'll never consume his product anyway. But here's a little bit more on how this woke scoring system works for businesses. As we mentioned earlier in the New York Post article, the woke rating, driven by the Human Rights Campaign, introduces a 100-point corporate equality index to score companies on their inclusiveness. So you know the administration likes that, right? Inclusiveness. Number one is workforce protections. you can get up to 5 possible points for no discrimination for employment based on sexual orientation or gender identity. Number 2, inclusive benefits. You can get up to 50 points possible. The criteria here includes providing health care for sex couples. Number 3, supporting an inclusive culture. 25 points possible, including gender-neutral dress codes and trans-inclusive restroom facilities. Number 4, your corporate social responsibility. You can earn up to 20 points for this one by simply marketing or advertising to LGBTQ consumers. And then number 5, responsible citizenship. You can actually lose up to 25 points for this. Points are deducted if a company gives money to organizations whose primary mission includes advocacy against LGBTQ equality. So there's the 5 bullet points and the 100-point scale that these companies are just going absolutely crazy over. And the CEI is a lesser-known part of the new booming ESG, environmental, social, and corporate governance. And ESG funds invest in companies that stress racial and gender equity over merit when it comes to their hiring and their board selection. You know, on this show, I'm big on merit. Those who have earned it, those who have deserved it, those who are talented enough should get it. But that runs totally counter to ESG. And you have these other companies like Nike, Anheuser-Busch, and Kate Spade. They're not worried about irritating conservatives. You can guarantee yourself that. They go on to say, with some of these other CEOs, such as BlackRock's Larry Fink, quote, society is demanding that companies, both public and private, serve a social purpose. It's interesting. I've never once given a rip about a company's ability to serve a social purpose, whether they're public or private. Do you make a good product? Can I afford it? Do I like it? Then I'll buy it. End of discussion. But we're living in remarkable times, are we not? So if you've ever wondered why these companies basically cut off their nose to spite their face, now you know. And as usual, it's driven by a few of the global elites, from all the way at the top with George Soros to CEOs like Larry Fink. And when you're a global elite, you don't care who's triggered, and you don't care what companies end up taking a small nosedive in their stock price or their market share, because at the end of the day, their lives aren't going to change. Yours might, but theirs won't. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take on this Friday morning. If you want to jump in on the conversation, 855-839-1210, the phone number, 855-839-1210. We'll come back, get some reaction to that, and then we do have some more fallout from all this woke messaging from companies. Oh, Heiner Scheid the hypocrite. We're coming to you next here on Kayal and Company.
Two legends, one